Hi, I'm Xelpha, and welcome to Speedway Junior High School. We're here in the conference room. I'm going to show you around just a little bit. There's our adult learner over there, Mrs. Mulberg. And today, we're here to learn how to accurately report student data. So, Mrs. Mulberg, thank you for coming in today. And I'm going to go over why we're here. So, Speedway is a small town surrounded by the city of Indianapolis. It has its own school district. It's a very small school district. And because of its size, every single student matters when it comes to funding. The state distributes its money based on the student information that each school and each school district reports. Because of this, it's very important that the information for each and every student is entered in correctly. We love our town, we love our schools, and we love our students. So let's do our very best in making sure that Speedway Schools gets the money they need to give our town's children the education they deserve. So the goal of this training is to show you, staff and the administrators, how to produce an accurate report for state reporting purposes. There are 3 objectives to this lesson that we're going to cover by the end. So the first objective is that by the end of this lesson, you will be able to locate and identify in Powerschool 16 out of 16 required data fields for the reports submitted to Indiana, specifically for our ESL students. And ESL, which I know you know, but I'm going to say it's our English as a second language students, those that are not native English speaking students. The second objective is that when provided a completed student enrollment form, you will be able to enter in all the students' information from the form with 100% accuracy. I think in the past there's been times when people would just hit the high spots putting the information into Powerschool, they think that some of these fields aren't really important, and it's on file, so if anyone ever asks, you can pull it out and look at the information. But actually what happens when you skip entering in everything on this form, then there's missing information that gets reported to the state. Some of it's very important, so that student can get accounted for appropriately. The third objective is that you, when given a sample report, will be able to pick out, I believe there's 22 of the 22 errors that are on this report. All right, so I have provided you a training packet. Let's see here. Here's the training packet that contains 3 very important documents. I use these often. I refer back to them regularly, and my hope is that you're going to find these really handy too. So when you leave here, I'm giving you a lot of information, but it's hard to remember all the details sometimes. So I hope that this is easy to use, it makes sense, and it's helpful. That's what I really hope for you. So the first document, it displays each of the fields that are required for an ESL report that we submit. So I made up, at the top, it has the field names, and then under that, it gives the descriptions for each of the fields. Does that seem pretty clear? All right. The second document is a checklist. So you see all these fields, and you will have a sample report that you're going to see, so you'll get to see what that looks like. And this document is a checklist that, if given a report, you go through step 1. For example, verify that anyone with a native language other than English, or if it is blank, that means English, has a score entered for English language proficiency. So if someone has on the report that they speak a different language, but the proficiency box is blank, that's something that has to be corrected. And then you can go to the next line. Verify that anyone with a proficiency score doesn't have their language box blank. Because if you've been tested for language proficiency, that means that you speak something besides English, and you have to have a value in that box for what language you speak. So you can go down the list. It's like, if this is this, then this box over here has to be that. So it makes it really clear. And it's color-coded too, because what you'll see is that, like this blue, I think, let's do green. Say this one that's highlighting green, this problem. So when you go to the next document, the third document, you're going to see, this is called Powerschool Field Location Descriptions for ESL data. And this is a partner to the checklist, because each page is also color-coded, and the colors match what's on your checklist, so it's easy to find when you're flipping through trying to fix your problem or find where in Powerschool something is located. Excuse me. So what I've noticed is when I've gone to an administrator and pointed out some errors in the report, they're like, I don't even know what this means. I don't know what this field means. Okay, that's why I have the page with the descriptions. But then next, like, where do I even find that in Powerschool to fix it? They don't know where to begin. I could tell them, but next year when we're gathering the data again, they're not going to remember because so much time has passed. And so that's why I created this, so that it's very clear where everything's located and what these things mean. Okay, I've also given you a student enrollment form, and this is what we're going to use to practice entering in all the information, because I want to make sure. I noticed that a lot of secretaries are only entering in certain things like name, birthday, maybe ethnicity. Sometimes that gets missed too, but there's so many other things on here, and I want to make sure that you know where the fields are located for this form so that everything gets entered in. And the last thing here is the sample report. I also have one that I did go through and find the errors, but I'm not going to show you that yet, because that's actually the answers to one of your learning activities. So I will keep that one hidden. Alright, so all you're going to need for this training session here are these documents in the training packet, excuse me, and a computer, which you have there, and access to Powerschool. You use Powerschool every day, so I know that we have all those things covered. So there will be 3 learning activities for you to complete that will demonstrate mastery of this training session today. The first activity we're going to do together. This is when we're going to locate in Powerschool each of the fields that are on this list that says what fields are on this ESL report. So we're going to go through each one, and we're going to locate those in Powerschool. I'm going to assess how well you understand this just based on my observation and talking to you. The second activity, we will go over together, but you're going to complete it on your own time, and that's where you take the student enrollment form and enter that information into Powerschool. And I can, when you're done with it, just turn it back into me, and I'm going to go through the form and make sure that everything was entered into Powerschool correctly. And the third activity, we also can go over together, but you're going to complete that on your own time also, and that's where you are given a sample report, a sample ESL report And you're going to identify using this checklist, the accuracy checklist. You're going to identify, I think there's 22 errors on here. And you're going to mark them. And then when you're done, you think you found all the errors, you turn it back into me and I'll let you know how you did. So if there are certain errors that you've missed, I'll go over it with you, like maybe you just didn't know where to locate it, or maybe it wasn't clear. If it's not clear, I want to know that as well so that I can maybe word it differently on the documents that I've been handing out to people. Because I do want it to be easy, I want it to make sense to you and to others. Alright, so there are 38 different reports that public school districts located in Indiana are required to submit to the state. These reports reflect enrollment, demographics, graduation, suspensions, expulsions, teacher information, teacher qualifications, and much more also. So there are a couple required reports that are specific for reporting information for our ESL students. ESL means English as a Second Language. For this training, I have combined the required fields for both of these reports into one document so that it's easy to go over. Because one of the reports has these fields, the other report has those fields, but the information for these ESL students, actually it's all related and it's easier to view it all together, to critique it, to make sure that this box says this says that. The only way to see all that at one time is to put all these fields on a spreadsheet in front of you at once. Alright, so let's take a look at the first page of our training packet as we go through this activity. So the first page, it says school number. That is probably going to be automatic on the report. Very rarely is this wrong. It can be though. If a student moves and switches school, like it could be within our district, it might still have their old school number on there, but they don't attend that school anymore. So we have to make sure that the school number is correct for your building. So let's take a look. Go in Powerschool, and I want you to show me where I would find that field. Okay. That's right. So can you tell me where else in Powerschool you can find that field? So there's more than one place you can find it and change that information if you need to. It's not just like one only page where this is located. It shows up in various locations. Right, it's also on the STN page. It's great. Alright, so the next one is Student STN. There's, again, a couple different places where you can find that. Can you show me where that would be found? Great. Okay, so here's one. Let's see. Native language. This is field P on your list here. Where do you find native language? Right, it's on the demographic page. Yep, it's also on the STN page. Great, that's what I was going to ask. Where else in Powerschool can you find the field for native language? Okay, now that we are more familiar with these fields, let's take a look at the student enrollment form. So we're going to go through this. This is our second learning activity, going over the student enrollment form. All right, we're going to go field by field. I want you to just click around. I want to see that you're comfortable locating these fields. We're not going to go through the whole thing though, just for time's sake. You can do that on your own time. If you have any questions or can't find something, please just let me know and I'd be happy to help you with that. All right, so we can put that aside for now. Next, we're going to take a look at our sample report. All right, now this is something that you're totally going to do on your own. It's going to take you time. You'll probably be slow at first. You want to be careful, and this might be brand new to you to take a report and go through step one. When you go through step one, you need to look at every line and make sure that the proper boxes have the right information in them. And if you see something wrong, you just highlight it. And once you're done looking at that for everyone, then go to number 2 and critique the report for just that problem. If you try to look at all the problems at once, you just look at this and try to pick out any problem randomly, it's going to be overwhelming because there's so much information on this page for so many students. So just focus on one problem at a time, and that way you're going to catch more mistakes, and it's going to be easier and your eyes won't get crossed. So thank you for joining me, coming today. If you have any questions, please shoot me an email, give me a call. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have, and I'm looking forward to you turning the student enrollment form back into me, or just let me know when you're finished and I'll check Powerschool to make sure it's in there correctly. And I am looking forward to getting your sample ESL report back to see that you were able to successfully find all 22 of those errors.